In this video, we're going to explore how we can use the hover values, or how we can start to show the hover values in a div element here nicely. This is a very interesting topic because this creates a new level of interactivity for your viewers. And it's a quite challenging item. And with this, you will learn instantly how Chart.js communicates with the tooltip information also down into the divs. So time to explore how to do this right now. In this video, we will answer one of the viewers' questions, which is how to display the hover tooltip values from Chart.js in a div in HTML. And this came from one of my other videos about Chart.js tooltip callback customize or customization. And in here, if you scroll down here, you can see here the question came from the viewer S8F. So a special thank you to S8F for asking the question. And this is what the viewer asked. Is it possible to print the values from the tooltip elsewhere, like an HTML element, for instance? Something like document.getElementById, content.innerHTML, and then data for the current hovered bar. Alright, it is possible, and I'm going to show you a way. This is not the official way, but this is currently, based on all my research, what I'm able to do. And I'm sure that there's probably another way to do this more efficient. But so far, this is the best what I can get. So let's start and work on this right now. First of all, make sure you go to chartjs3.com getting started to get the default code. And if you want to understand what this code basically is, you can see here this video, watch that specific video. I'm going to copy all of this. And once I copy this, I'm going to paste it here. And as I do that, I'm going to cut out this title, move it in here. Save this, go back here and refresh. There we are. So now we have our very basic bar chart. What I want to do here first is to create a very simple paragraph here. Just a paragraph that will be used for our values when we hover over them. So, or paragraph or a div, I will just say div, that's fine. So a div, and I will just give here hover val for hover value. And I will just put in here closing div, and then we say here hover value. Alright, so once I did that, I want to just give it a quick design. You can say here id equals hover value, and then we say here heading 10 pixels. And what we will do more is we can say here border. I'm just going to give it a default color so you will see the difference later on. Solid 1 pixel gray. Then we have a background color which will be gray as well. Save this, refresh. There we are. So we have this now. Alright, it's now time to work with the tooltip section. So what we're going to do now is basically we're going to create a callback. I've tried to find any other way, and so far it just doesn't work, and this is the only way that I can work it or can manage to get it to work. So we're going to do the following. I'm going to say your plugins, and I'm going to show you later on why, or explain why afterwards. Plugins, and then we say tooltip, and in the tooltip we're going to work with a callback. Callbacks, that's how you type it. It's always with the S for the tooltip. And normally I would not want to use this one directly, because with the callback is normally specifically focused on drawing something in the tooltip. And in our case, we're not going to draw anything in the tooltip because we just want to extract the value out of it. Somehow I cannot get it any way else except through this method. So this is why we're doing it so far. I'm sure there's another way. Once I find it, I'll make another video for that. However, here we're going to say after footer. And I have a video about explaining all of these. If you want to check out that one, it's another video. I'll put it in the comment section below. And then here, we'll say the following. We're going to say here, because basically the after footer would mean to draw something in the tooltip footer, or after the footer has been loaded, draw something or write something in there. In my personal experience, I believe hardly anyone will use this item, so that's why I tend to use this one. So it will not impact anything else on your tooltip. So we're going to put in here the chart value, that's what we're going to need. And then we're going to say the following. We're going to say a constant, and then we say a hover val, which will be of course the ID name. So we say document.getElementById. And then we say here the hover value. So now what we're going to do is the following. What we really want to do here is first of all get this and show it in a console log, just to make sure you understand what this really means or does. Save this, refresh. Let's see what's going on. Did we have anything? Of course, we need to make sure we have a comma here. Make sure you have a comma here or else you get an error. There we are. Open up the developer tab, and if you hover over, you can see now this console log starts to show our value, and it shows you 0, which is necessary, and then you can grab here all of the data, and this is the data we need. So you can see here index 6, we have here the data index 0, which is correct because we only have one data set right now. And you can see even here the matching values. If I go here, this is number 9. So you can see here even the parse values. This is basically the one that's fine as well. This is the value of 9 and 6. Why 6 here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is value 9, so that's the Y. So X, number 6, because it's the 7th element in the array, we count from 0. And then number 9 is the Y value. Alright, so what we need to extract here is basically these here. You have to make sure we go to 0, but afterwards you have to make sure this one here. Index and the data set index. So that's what we're going to use, and we can even use the parse Y value of number 9. So that's what we're going to extract right now. So to do this, all we need to do here is the following. We're going to grab here this, and then we say here first of all 0, and then let's put in here the item we want. Well, the first one is the data index. So I'm going to put it in here. I'm going to get another one, just to make sure you understand this and see the structure of this. So, whoa, that's too fast. Then we get this one, the data set index. All right, and finally we'll get the parsed Y value. You can do raw as well. It's up to you. So I'll just say here in this case we just say parsed dot Y. So if I save this now, refresh, we should be able to extract all the values in here. As you can see, this is correct because the value of 12, this is index 0, and then the value of it's number 4, which is correct, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's basically what we need. So now we have this. What we can do with this is basically start to show these values. So what we're going to do here is just very simple. Hover value dot, or hover ball, that's the ID name, dot inner text. And then our inner text here, I'm using inner text and not inner HTML. Inner text is more preferred. And then in here, I'm going to use backtick, backtick. This would mean I'm going to use here template literals. And the reason I'm going to use template literals, we're going to use text plus variables. And we don't want to do these. If you are familiar with concatenation in JavaScript, you have to do this, and then you have to do that, and then you get all these plus with single quotation. I don't want this. I want to make it more easier for myself. This is another way that's a bit cleaner and better. Alright, so what we're going to do here, very simple. We're going to put in the item. So I'll say here, the first thing will be data set. Our data set equals whatever the data set would be. That is this one here. So I'm going to copy this, and then I will say a $sign, and then here we have the curly braces. Paste in the code we have here, and then next comma. Then we can say here, we can say your data or value, whatever you want. Well, this is the data index basically. You can grab this, and then we do the same here, $sign, curly braces, paste this in here, and then finally comma, and then we can say here the Y value, and then here $sign, curly braces, grab this one here. So once we have this, we can save this now, and we can refresh, and if we would hover over, pay attention here below, you can see this now, it changes. Alright, so now we're almost done, but I want to do a few more things before we even are done. We still have a long way to go, unless you are happy already with this. What I want to do here next is at least to get the background colors and the border colors extracted to put it in here. So that's what we're going to do next, and this will be also quite straightforward. But the only thing what we need to do is we need to figure out how we can get the border colors here. Because if we go and do this here, let's get the console log again, or we can just remove these now. we get the console log, save this, refresh, if I hover over, you will see here we get a whole chunk of information. And we see here in the data set, we get this item here. We have the data set, and then we have the background color, and the background color has all of these values. So this means we need to work in the array. However, if you're familiar, we already have our data value here. So all we need is this here, whatever we hover over on, match with these here. And that will be very straightforward. So let's do this right now. We go from datasets, background colors, and then we get the value that we want. So let me show you here just to make sure you have understanding. So we go here, we go into dataset and then background color. So dataset dot background color. Background color is that with the capital C. Yes, that is correct, capital C. Then here basically we need to put in the value. So how will we do this value here? If we want to put 0, we get here the color, alright. But then, how do we do this? We have the Y, well, or specifically here, this data index value. We already have this, so we can copy this, put it in here, and save that. Once we do that, you can see here now, we get this color, that's correct, it's the black. Then we get here the orange, and you can see here every unique color, alright? Nice. So now we're basically done with that, and you can imagine how will we do it then for the border color. Exactly same, except here we do border. Refresh it, and then we have here border color and background color. Nice. Now what we want to do, the next one, that is to indicate it in here. So we just say here dot style dot background color equals what exactly? Well, we want this specific item here. So I'm going to copy that, put it in here, and next is the other one, hover val dot style dot border color, capital C again, and in here we will grab this specific item here, copy this, paste that here, and there we are. So now we can remove these, or I'll just comment this out for now, save that, refresh, and now there we are. So you might say we're done, but personally, we're not done yet, and the reason why is like this, because look, I will be gone here, and what happened? It doesn't disappear. So we need to make it disappear, and this is the biggest struggle I had. I couldn't find the same methodology that they use in the tooltip. It is somehow very hard to find, and I will be eventually searching for it. So what we need to do is we're going to use another trick, because basically we're going to build the 3 functions just to get this working correctly. Alright? So what we're going to do now is the next item here. So this part works. What we need to now figure out is how will we know if we hover over it that it will see the tooltip, or basically it understands that we are on the location, and if we go out of it, that it will understand we are not anymore on that. So it should change to what we call a default setting. So how would we figure out to do this? Well, luckily we can do this quickly with a function they have built in here. We say on hover, and with the on hover we're going to make here a function, and this is called CTX. So with this we're going to start to figure out, and I think I will put this down, and the reason I'm putting this at the bottom here is because it might create an issue later on. So we're going here, let's see, alright, that's this. So we want it here. There's a specific reason for that. Later on I will explain. Alright, so we have this here, hover value, we have this here, and what we want to do is basically this. We have the function here, and then we want to figure out how can we get or analyze if we are on the item or not, or on the bar, hovering on that bar, yes or no. So do here CTX in the console log, make sure you have a comma here, save this, and there we are. Alright, so once I open up again the console log or the developer tab, you can see here we are getting here specific values, and these values are essential. So when we are here on, it will show, and it will show you basically where our position is. Alright, so then all we need to do here is basically figuring out if we are in the specific position that we need. And am I here correct? Yes, this is CTX. So what I need to do here is now I need to go into the chart, and then here in the chart we're going to search for a specific item. which is called the underscore active. You can see here it is active, or right now it's not active because it's understandable. But if you hover over it, you can see there's a lot of items moving here. There's a lot of moving items. So somewhere in the middle here probably we should be figuring out that we have an active item. And it's quite hard to find here, of course, but if it's active you will see the value. So I don't want to search for the item here because it loops here and it goes through it many times. So all we need to do here is basically get the chart. Here it is the chart. That's the chart without the 0. There's no 0 here. And then we say here underscore active. If I save this, refresh, you can see here now we have an active, and you can see here when it's not active. So if it's active here, we get a lot of these here, meaning there is an array in here. That's it. This is the value we need to know. But we don't get this exact value because we cannot extract this. It gives an error the moment we want to extract this value. If not, I would be doing this already straight away. And if we are out of it, if we hover away from it, you can see if we hover here somewhere, not on the item, then you can see length is 0. And if we are here up, then you can see here these curly braces again, length equals 1. It's showing the item. So if I would do here the following, we have this console log, and all that we want to do is basically analyze if the console log is being shown yes or no. So to do this, what we're going to do here, we're going to grab this. We're going to make an if statement. Say if this then equals, well, you can see here, it should equal here a certain value. If it's not, we'll have this. There's a length of none. So we say here if this, oh sorry, what we need to get, I realized I almost forgot, we need to get the active 0. Let me show you that before, because that would make far more sense. Active 0, meaning that do we have one with a length, yes or no, and we want to grab the first item. It would be length 1. Alright, so you can see here it is undefined, and if we hover over it, you can see here it is defined, but the moment we hover away from it, it is undefined. So we're going to make an if statement here based on this specific value. So if, then we grab this equals undefined, equals strict, by the way, undefined. In that case, we can just say a console log, and then we can just put in here undo design. Alright, if I save this now, we should be able to see this nicely working. Refresh, you can see here undo design, and now it says here okay. And as we look through, you can see here it's consistently like this. Sometimes it just takes some time. Why? I do not know. I guess it loads a lot because the animation is quite active. Alright, so what we want to do here now, basically very straightforward. The undo design is just this item here. I'm just going to grab all of this, and we just say here the basics. This here inner, and then we say here whatever the default text was here, hover value. I'm going to just put it in here. Alright, and then the next one would be here the hover that style background color equals what? Well, in this case it will go back to the original. If I'm not mistaken, we give it in the CSS gray, so we do that one, and the same here for the hover value dot style dot not background color but border color is gray. Save this, refresh. Now we are here. If you go on here, you can see here now, beautiful. Alright, so now we have this, and now you might say we're done. Well, I'll tell you that there is still a tiny bug here. I figured out that if you hover down, you can see it doesn't undo anymore because it doesn't see it anymore. And if you are here, this was alright, but if you go very fast like that, it doesn't undo as well. So that is what we're going to solve right now. That's the next item. This is the reason why we have 3 functions. So basically we have this function here, we have the callback function, and then here finally is the what I would call the move of the mouse out function. So let's give it a very simple function name. I'll call it the reset div. And this one will be very straightforward. It will do exactly the same as what it does here above. But there's just only one condition. We will trigger it the moment we are mouse out of our canvas. So to do this, I'm going to copy this and then go here to the canvas item. And then in here, we're going to say here on mouse out. That's the one we want. Put in this function, and there we are. Once we save this, refresh, you can see now, if I go down here, it will go away, because you might say, why is it not activating here already? Well, the truth is that we are still not out of the canvas. As you can see, this is the canvas still showing. So that's the only issue. So we have this here, and then we go here, we go there, we go there, and if we go here, like that, the quick one, bam, it works all nicely. So now we have it very fully covered. I'm sure there's still more, and I know that there's something I'm missing out, but this is basically the way to do it. What I want to show you as well, of course, does it work if you have two data sets? You might wonder that. Well, let me show you right now that it does. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just change these colors. Give this here, the background color, a solid alpha value. Alright, and then we say here 1, let's make this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Save this, refresh, and now we have 2 items. Alright, so let's check. There we are, there we are, there we are, there we are, and there we are. Alright, alright, nice, nice. And if you go down, nice. So now you can see here all of these colors, beautiful. So everything works, you can see the values. The only one, the black here, probably you won't be able to see because it is not in the font size itself, the same color. The font color is identical to the background color. Alright, so this is basically everything what you need to know so far about the tooltips here, and this is how you can create, and you can do a lot of stuff as well with it. To be honest, this is quite fun to see. And if you enjoyed this video, I have another video that maybe you would enjoy as well, which is about how you can create your line chart with color-coded design based on the value, if it goes down or up. This is probably one of the things that I absolutely adore. It's really beautiful to look at. The link will be popping up here. So if you're interested in this, highly recommend it to check out this specific video as well.